Hello fellow modelers and styling fanatics, welcome back to my channel. I hope that everyone is doing fine and enjoys the hobby. Concrete Banger is back with another one of its notorious episodes. On today's episode, me and Past George, we are working onto the Stug 3 10.5 cm from Dragon in 1 to 35th scale and kit number 9058, and we almost finalize our vehicle. Now, a few words about this video. This is mostly a show and tell video as usual with my painting and weathering videos, so you may not find it so engaging, but anyway guys, it is what it is. In the end, I almost, as I've said, finalized my Stug. I really like it, the way it looks, and I also unbox my next complementary project that it is going to be in the same scene with the Stug. It is a small thing that I believe it's going to add a nice touch into the whole scene. Anyway, I don't wanna bore you guys much. You already know the drill. Grab a seat, grab a mandatory cold one, and let's see what me and Past George did in this episode. Hi guys, welcome back to what it looks like the beginning of part number 5 for the Stug. As you can see, our vehicle is exactly as we left it in our previous episode. Let me do a quick recap for my friends that watch this video for the first time, this video series for the first time. So we grabbed the Dragon Stug with kit number 9058. We have completed the main assembly, applied this winter camo scheme on top of it, did some mud effects on the sides mainly, and now we are proceeding to the next step. So what's the next step, you may ask? My next step is to finalize the look of the sprocket and the idler wheel, give them a pin wash, some chipping, some slight chipping, etc, etc. Do some oil streaks onto all the wheels, here and on all the wheels, on some wheels to be precise, and then taking care of the bottom side of the vehicle together with the front armor plate, doing a pin wash and adding mud on both of them, and then I am going to proceed with the road wheels, with the moving gear application, road wheels and tracks. Now let me of course do that off camera, and I am going to be back to tell you how things worked out. Sunday morning, and I have been a busy bee today, guys. So I have decided to make a small part of the video just to show you my work on the road wheels before they go onto the vehicle. Let's grab the sprocket. Here is a closer look. The idler, one of the two idlers. Come on, focus, please. No. Yep, there we have it. And now let's grab 2 or 3 road wheels. Here is how they look. Now, what I did to create that effect, you may ask. Simple as pie this time. I just sprinkled some of this pigment on top of everything, fixed it in place with diluted PVA, heavily diluted PVA, totally watery consistent. Gave them a brown wash. I also gave them some streaking grime with engine grease from Arbdelung oils, and then I did mud spatters on top with my trio of colors, which is dark mud, let me grab the other one, light mud, and flat earth, just to unify the whole appearance of the lower hull. That's why I used these three colors. Now, apart that, let me move them aside. I have also removed and cleaned 120 links of tracks. When I say I cleaned them, I am talking about only for the excess connection points. They have mold marks on top of them, but I'm not going to sand them down because tracks are gonna be submerged, yes, in mud, so no reason for me to do that. Now over here, as I've said, I have 120 links. I have no idea how many links will be used for each side. If I am guessing correctly, they must have been something. I must need something. Like 95 to 100 links per side. Now, what my next plan is, of course, I am going to attach the road wheels, but not the idler and the sprocket, and I'm gonna start putting links together as I go. In general, I'm gonna finish one side. I'm gonna count how many links I have used. I am gonna stop, record another video to tell you guys how this worked out for me, and we are gonna move on to the next side. So, well guys, as you can see, I have did some work off camera. I have completed one side of the tracks, and here is how they look, and here is a look from the front and from the rear. Now, I faced some small issues putting them down, assembling them and putting them onto the vehicle. I'm gonna tell you in mere moments. Of course, my first issue is that I almost break everything from the photo etched parts. As you can see, they are all hanging through a thread right now, but anyway, I'm gonna fix it later. Now, the second issue that I have applying the tracks was with a point over here where my tweezers are. Over here there is a protrusion due to this thing. There's a protrusion that you now won't be able to see because I have covered in mud, but this is the passing through here is too narrow for tracks to go through, so keep an eye about that when you assemble the kit. Sand this piece a little bit, sand this area a little bit, so you won't face the same issues with me. I was lucky and I was able to fit the tracks through this point, but as I've said, I was lucky. Now let me do the other side, and before I start doing the other side, I wanna inform you that this side took 92 links. over here I have 28 left from the initial 120. So this side took me 92 links according to my advanced math. So hopefully this one will take the same amount. Well guys, I have been a busy bee, and here is the other side of tracks. The Stug here is not so well. I'm working on it yet. I'm still working on it, to be precise. Anyway, tracks are not yet firmly glued, not yet cured in place, so I will need to put several stuff in here to create the same sag as the other side. But except that, everything went wonderfully. So this side here as well took 92 links, 92 to 93, and now I am ready to proceed to the next step. Now you may ask, what is my next step? So my next step will of course be to paint the tracks, weather them, add some mud here and there, mud spatters here and there, but I'm not gonna finalize the mud effects onto them, because these need to be done when the thing sits on the dio. Anyway, apart the tracks, my next step will be to add the decals. A late night update, guys, and I have completed, as I said before, painting of the tracks and decal application. Now, for the tracks, the only thing I have used for the time being is Panzer Aces 304 track primer. This is a good dark brown color, at least in my eyes, which is always a great base for tracks, if you ask me. Now, this is not of course, and this is not the final look of the tracks. They're gonna remain as they are until the vehicle finds its way onto my dio, and after that, after the vehicle finds its way on my dio, I will of course finalize the look. I will of course add pigments and mud and all the necessary stuff to incorporate the vehicle to the rest of the scene. Now, that's all for the tracks for the time being. Once again, next thing that I have done is to pick the vehicle number and markings. Of course, I have chosen the number 308. Sorry guys, and this is because both of the photos I have, they depict this vehicle. Of course, in one of the photos, the vehicle has the armor plate, the add-on armor plates onto the side, the Schrutzen. I think that I pronounced it good enough for my German friends out there. Sorry guys, this is my best pronunciation for the time being. So, as I've said, normally the numbers should have been applied onto the side armor plates, but the kit does not provide armor plates. The armor plates are, to be honest with you, the armor plates of the Stug have a very specific shape and size, and I don't have any styrene seats to scratch build that stuff. Now you will tell me why I don't buy styrene seats, mainly because whenever I remember to buy styrene seats, that's the only thing I need, and I never order one thing because it is not viable for me. The shipping to where I live, it is quite expensive. So I usually do big orders. What I mean by saying big orders, I usually grab multiple stuff in one order so I can maximize the shipping value. You know, it's the same if you grab a big box. It's the same if you grab a small box or an envelope. I don't know why this is happening, but anyway. So I will of course get my hands on styrene sheets, you know, for scratch building and stuff, but this will come later on. I hope that this ramble made sense. Anyway, we are continuing. So since I don't have the additional armor plates, I have opted to apply the markings onto the vehicle sides as they usually are if no side armor is present. So 308 for me. Normally in the photos you can see this number in what looks like a white color, but I don't. If I did that, we had no visibility. First of all, no visibility of the markings. First of all, and second of all, the decal sheet of this kit was only in black. That's my excuse, that's my story, I'm sticking with it. Now we moving on to my next step. Now that everything is painted and decal is applied, is to add some stuff that I have left waiting until this stage. Some of this stuff is of course the exhaust system and various other things, like, let me grab the instructions, like is in step 14, the exhaust shroud. I'm gonna call it, probably is not the proper name, but I will need to assemble this thing and put it on top of the exhaust system. What I'm gonna do right now, what's my plan? My plan is to fully paint and weather the exhaust system, apply these things, the exhaust, onto the rear of the vehicle, and then assemble the exhaust shroud to apply it in, to attach it in place as it should be, as intended. Even later night update, guys, and we are moving onwards with our plan. Here is my exhaust system on its final look, almost final look, of course, and I have used my favorite trio of rust colors: yellowish rust, light rust and dark rust. From moving from darker to lighter tones with the sponge chipping technique. I didn't spend much time onto them because they wouldn't be so visible, so just a quick slap job, if you can name it like that. So first things first, this one goes here, like so. I don't know if you can see it. Yep, you can. And let's apply the other muffler or exhaust tip well, it's not an exhaust tip, but anyway. And this one. No. Come on now. Doesn't want to sit in place. There. So now I will leave the tank aside and work onto the exhaust shroud, which is step 14. Over here I have spotted a mistake. Let me point it out to you guys. As you probably can see over here, instructions state that this part, which is this part, is I-29, and in reality this part is F-38. In sprue I there is nothing. Sprue I has only the track links and nothing more. So I searched all the other sprues for this part. I found it on the F sprue, so F38. So keep an eye about that, guys. Luckily you can tell the difference, and this is the rest of the parts that we're gonna need for the exhaust shrouds. Now, assembly is a little bit tricky, I think. Let me bring the camera closer and let's start. So I'm gonna start with one side first. Apply my glue. You won't be able to see much. I know I have my fingers on the way, but there is no other way, guys, believe me. Let's do the same thing for the other side. Before I glue the other side, just for you guys to know, there is an indentation. My camera can barely catch it. So in that indentation you have to follow the shrouds, the shroud's shape. You have to follow the shape. You have to attach it there exactly. There we have it. I'm just readjusting parts. Okay, looks like we have a success. And now these two guys, both of them have a ridge over here at the corner, so you won't be able to misplace them. Oh, I have found the word. Now let me see, and these two guys go on top of this over here. Exactly. Now this is going to be tricky. Excuse me guys for not talking, I am trying to concentrate. We're gonna do the same onto the other side. And I am almost there. Now I am there, exactly. So looks like we have a success. Famous last words. I am going to apply a bit more glue, and of course I am going to leave the part alone. Yes, I'm gonna leave the sub-assembly alone to cure for a moment. And if you are following this build at this stage, this is the exact part that you need to do. You know, this is the exact sub-assembly we need to recreate, I should say. Tricky, but interesting. So, what's my plan now? My next plan is to let this thing to dry, attach it on attached over here the tank. So guys, I already remember that I told you that I've got a plan before and we were proceeding step by step, but as always I never stick to my plan. So one thing led to another. I was working in the Stug, and the thing escalated, so now it is almost finished. I'm gonna explain later why I say almost finished, and I am going and right now I am going to tell you exactly what I have done. I remember that I have left you before gluing this part, the exhaust shroud on top, and now that I'm looking at it, it needs a little bit more cleanup. Anyway, I'm gonna do that later. As you have seen, I have already painted it, weathered it and glued it in place. Apart that, I have detail painted, weathered and glued in place all the Pioneer tools and accessories, and I am talking like about the C hooks, one over here and another one over here, jack block, tools, the fire extinguisher, spare road wheels, etc. Spare track links over here, and a lot of other stuff that I'm not gonna mention because you already know the accessories of the vehicle. Apart that, I gave the whole thing a pin wash with dark brown. After that, I gave it an oil filter, not an oil filter, sorry, an oil dot filter, I should say, with let me grab the oil paints because I cannot remember their names, as always, as usual. So it's yellow ochre and raw amber, Winsor and Newton, both of them wonderful oil paints, really nice pigments in there. So apart that, as I've said, I gave it an oil dot filter, and after that I have opted to do something that I don't usually do. Well, I opted for chipping, slight chipping here and there, mainly in the hard edges and I know that this is not realistic. It is an artistic representation. That's why in my latest builds I always do chips onto the hard edges and around hatches, etc, etc. Although I know that it is not realistic, I still like the looks, and I don't think that I am gonna stop chipping my vehicles. Anyway, I usually do that with a sponge chipping technique because I was afraid I didn't like my results with a brush, because you can do it also with a brush. But after a conversation I had with Michael and Rob, thank you guys, they told me the right way to do it, the right way to use the brush chipping technique. I just needed to be more gentle with my brush and dilute the paint even more. So this is the final look of the vehicle. This is how it looks, the almost final look, I should say. I am pretty pleased with how it came out. To be honest with you guys, I love it. And even though in my previous episode I wasn't sure about my camo scheme, right now I think that it is fantastic, and I am glad that I have chosen this camo scheme to proceed. So now what is my next plan for the Stug? So my next plan, of course, will be to add even more storage over here. I am gonna search my spare box and add even more stuff, because this bracket, this holding bracket, that it is attached on top of it, screams to my mind that I need more storage. Give me a second. Sorry guys, I had a phone call. As I was saying, what's my next plan for the Stug? Next plan is to add storage. I'm gonna search my spares box, find the appropriate storage that I wanna add over here at the back. I am also going to try to create a tarp from a napkin for the first time, and then we are going to leave the Stug aside for a moment, and we are going to work onto something else, something completely different. Although that something completely different, that something completely different is going to be incorporated in our dio, in the dio that I have in mind, that I'm not sure if it's going to be a dio or a vignette, but anyway, that something is this. This is a farmer's cart, a Europe farmer's cart from World War II era. I don't care about Europe. That says over here, from Masterbox, with kit number MB3537. I wanna build that to incorporate it in the scene, because I'm gonna try to replicate a farmer's shed together with a Stug. So I had this in my stash, and I have thought that it is going to be a nice addition. So I haven't searched the ScaleMate site to see when this was released, but anyway, we are going to unbox it right now. As you can see at the sides, it has various information in various languages: German, French, Polish, Russian and English. at the back you can see our card finished, and on the inside we have 2 screws wrapped in a plastic baggie together with the instructions. Now let me open the screws, open the baggies to see what we are dealing with. I said 2 screws, sorry, it was 1 screw, my mistake. So over here we have the card. It has some really faint wood grain detail onto these 2 planks. Here we have the sides, we have the road wheels of the cart. This must be the steering mechanism. We have 2 things, 2 ropes that look like wire rope. I cannot remember the correct name for this. All in all, a pretty basic kit. There is almost no wood grain detail. So anyway, I decided to build that and to incorporate it in that scene. This is gonna be a simple build, quick and easy, but I believe that it's going to take me some time to paint it. Pretty detailed. Not a highly detailed kit, but it's gonna do the job nicely. So here is all the contents, a closer look. And let's move with the instructions. The instruction is a single page. Instruction sheet is a single page, and it is quite complicated. Quite complicated. It is quite busy, I have to say. So, step number 1, step number 2, or I should say step number 1 and then step number 2. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna build it in front of the camera. I don't have a lot to say about these instructions because they are so busy and I don't know from where to start to describe them to you guys. But anyway, we should have no problem putting this thing together. So, with all that said and done, we have made it to the end of this episode. On our next episode, as I've said, we're going to do all the stuff that I previously described moments ago. And if we are lucky, we will proceed with the simple base creation. Well, I will need to finish the card to do that, so I can see what the size of the base that I'm gonna need to create. Anyway, I hope that you guys found this video helpful and interesting and stick along for the next one. Before I go, I want to thank each and every one of you guys that watched this video. A special thank you to my old and new subscribers. You guys are the best and you are the reason I keep doing these videos. For the newcomers out there that encounter one of my videos for the first time, welcome guys. I hope that you like what I do. If so, you all know what to do. Leave a like, comment with your thoughts and opinions, share the video if you believe it deserves to be shared, or even consider subscribing for more builds to come your way. Until the next time, fellow modelers and friends, take care and model on. It was that Mofo Damon signing out.